So many people that I talk to on a daily basis believe that they're not good enough. They don't quite measure up with everybody else that they know. And they secretly have this thought, this battle that they have in their mind that somehow they are just not good enough and people think that they're not good enough. And it keeps them from really living the life that they really want to live. And that's what this episode is all about. If you struggle with believing that you're good enough, I want you to tune in because we're going to be talking about stop believing you're not good enough in this episode of the Mental Health Today show. Welcome to the Mental Health Today show. My name is John Cordray. I am a board certified counselor. And today we're going to talk about those negative thoughts that you have in your mind. Some of you have those negative thoughts all the time and you start to believe them and they become an idol, if you will, because you have them so often and it's in that negative thought loop and it goes around and around and around. So it starts with the event, something that triggered you feeling that way, whatever it was, maybe something that somebody said, something that somebody did or didn't do. You have that trigger, and it triggers the fact that, oh, here I go again. Something's wrong with me. In that internal battle that you have of beating yourself up, and you allow those negative thoughts to influence your behavior. And some of you have it pretty bad. And when it comes to social situations, and your social anxiety gets the best of you, and you might be invited to go somewhere, and yet you say no because of that internal battle that you want to go, but you don't want to go. You don't think you're good enough, and people are just inviting you to tag along. You're the plus one, but you're not really invited. They don't really want you to come along, but they feel obligated. I know you know what this is about, right? You felt this way before, many of you, and you allow those negative thoughts. And so I want you to stop believing that you're not good enough. Because when you continue to look at all the reasons why you don't measure up with your friends, you don't measure up at work, it will hold you down. And when you peel back the layers, and I believe that there are layers, when you have these negative thoughts and you start to believe them, there are layers and they go down deep. Deep down, there is a core emotion. And I believe most of you, it is shame. And that shame then is can be traced all the way back in your childhood. There was a seed that was planted long time ago and it has bloomed. You might be an adult right now or a elder. You might be really old or you might be a young adult, but that seed was planted in you a long time ago. And so the message was, you're not good enough. Maybe you were criticized. Maybe you were embarrassed, but somewhere along the line, it was planted in you and you tend to nurture it, right? You water it, you fertilize it, you help it grow because you ruminate on it. And so, how do you stop? So, it's easy to say stop believing you're not good enough, but it's hard when it comes to really putting it to practice. So, if you're so used to believing you're not good enough, believing that you're a failure, believing that you don't measure up, when you believe that, it has influenced you to the degree you start to allow it to keep you from doing the things in life that you want to. Maybe it keeps you from the friend that you want to talk to, or maybe it keeps you from wanting to pursue more in your job or at school. So when you have these negative thoughts, they're not based in reality. They're based in something how you feel or what you think. And when you have these thinking traps, you're either projecting into the future, you're catastrophizing into the future, you're filling in the blanks, if you will. And so you think someone's thinking about you in a certain way. And it's almost always going to be a negative. You're going to fill in the blank, and it's going to be a negative thought against you. And that's how you feed it. That's how you water that negative thoughts. But it's time to stop doing that. It's time to take ownership of your mental health. Because when you believe in something that's not true, you allow it to influence you, and you allow it then to hold you back. And when you're held back, you can't live to your potential because you are a valuable person. I don't care what you think. I don't care because I know you're beating yourself up and you're thinking, I'm not valuable. What are you talking about? Yes, you are. You're a human being. You deserve dignity. You deserve respect, whether you're getting it or not. And this is a common theme with the clients that I see every single day. I see clients every day, and they range from, um, you know, professionals in their jobs to students. And the theme doesn't matter what job they have, doesn't matter what status in society they have, it's still the same theme, and it's, I'm not good enough. There's something about me. I have flaws. I'm not perfect. And so part of that's true. You're not perfect, and you'll never be perfect because you're human. You're going to make mistakes. But you're not able to accept that because of the message that you heard a long time ago that was planted. You feeling shame or embarrassed or guilt, and it has developed in you in this low self-esteem, insecurity, that when someone does offer feedback to help you grow, you take it as criticism and you take it as an attack and you feel threatened. It's this battle that you're experiencing in your mind, where you can criticize yourself. You're really good at it, but when someone else does, it hurts even more. You feel like it's confirmation. And I was just talking to a client just a little bit ago today, and she is struggling with this very thought that she's not good enough. And for her, it wasn't, she has that, but then she has people in her life that confirm that they are actually critical of her and point out things and they criticize her. And so you can imagine that seems like evidence that she, see, I'm not good enough. Other people are telling me that. But that's a false narrative too, because these are people who are normally critical. That's their personality, but it has nothing to do with her as a person, as a human being. When you look at your performance as a way of bringing you value, that it'll get you every time, because you're not perfect. And when you make a mistake, then it's a mistake. It's not a failure. And you are often, if you're listening to this, I'm sure you have experienced this, that you failed at something and therefore you are a failure, and you mix the two together. You cannot separate you as a human being and and your flaws. They're together. And so one of the ways that you can stop believing that you're not good enough is to accept your flaws. You're not perfect. And no one else is either. You might think they are. You might look at somebody and you might say, well, look at them. They're a lot better than I am. They don't struggle with this. They're a better parent than I am. They're a better student than I am. And it's really easy to get caught up in that imposter syndrome, but you don't know what they're experiencing. You don't know what they're struggling with. And this is I can't tell you how common this thought is, and how it's such a false narrative. Don't believe it. Don't give into it. Enough is enough. Can you say that to yourself? I'm going to stop beating myself up. Can you say that? Are you willing? Are you ready to stop believing the false lies that your inner critic is trying to make you believe? You have probably felt this way for a very long time. You have all these unhealthy patterns of coping, and you cope by beating yourself up and tearing yourself down and judging yourself. And you have developed a lifetime of that. And now it's time to stop. And you have to be able to work on catching yourself when you have those negative thoughts. And then to be able to identify, these are my thinking traps. This is what I fall into. And then I want you to start accepting who you are as a person. Write down all the things that you have thought, the negative things that you have thought about. Make a T chart. I call it a T chart. Write it down. And on the left side, I want you to write down all those negative thoughts that you have felt about yourself. When you make a mistake, or when you get embarrassed, you feel stupid, you feel dumb, you feel whatever. Write them all down. And then on the right side, I want you to write down that what you know to be true about you as a person has nothing to do with what you do, your performance, but you as a person. And I want you to write down things. You know what? I care about people. I want to help people. I love my family. I'm a good friend. I'm a good listener. I help people. I want to help people, and that's one of the things that I value. So write down those. So I want you then to look at that list and be able to say, okay, who am I really? Am I really this person that is a failure and I'm not good enough? Is that really who I am? Or am I a person who cares about others? I'm not perfect. To be able to accept the fact that you're not perfect and to be able to live and think in a way that you pursue what you hold valuable in your life. What are your values? Helping people. What do you want to do? I want to be nice. I want to be kind. So those are the traits that our society need, not the performance based. Because when you start thinking about that false narrative that you have to be perfect, then you give into what our society looks at and tries to amplify, that you have to be perfect, you have to look perfect in a certain way, you have to act a certain way, you have to wear clothes, a certain clothes. But that's a false narrative. That's a veneer. But what truly matters in a person and in our society are the internal things that nobody can take from you. So you are kind and say kind things. You do kind things. You show love and sensitivity to those who are hurting. That's who you are. And so when you need to stop believing is when you the moment that the trigger has been set and something happens and you start to feel like, oh yeah, here I go again. See, I'm stupid. That was a stupid thing to say. When you can catch yourself, I want you to try to reframe that thought and the feeling. It's okay. It's okay to have that thought, okay? First of all, it's not wrong to feel like you're not good enough. It's just not true. It's not wrong to feel guilty or shame or sad or upset, anxious. That's how you feel. You're a human being, so you have feelings. It's not wrong, but it may not be accurate. But when you allow those inaccurate thoughts and feelings to influence your behavior, that's where you want to work on. You want to work on reframing that so your behavior is, you are able to accept who you are, baggage and all. Now, some of you have that shame that I talked about that goes way back, and maybe you have experienced trauma in your life. Or maybe somebody was verbally abusive to you in your life. And so that narrative has been with you for a long time. And so that's something that you might want to talk to a therapist about, or you might want to be a part of a community of others who can encourage you. You might want to listen to a podcast like the Mental Health Today show. But to be encouraged and do it on a regular basis, consume. So you want to consume things that are positive, consume things, learn, educate yourself on what is helpful for you. And so if you struggle with believing that you're not good enough, then you're believing a false narrative, and that's not what's true. It might feel like it's true, but it's not. And do everything that you can, whether it's going to a therapist, whether it's listening to a podcast, or whether it's watching YouTube videos, whatever it is, be active in working on you and on your feelings. Be open about it. Don't let this be your best kept secret. You don't want your friends to know, but yet they are your best support network. And I would encourage you to open up to them, or to at least somebody that you trust, and tell them that you struggle with these thoughts sometimes, and get their feedback and get their help. So don't keep this to yourself. Don't allow it to influence you. You've got to work on it and learn about it, and learn what can you do to start believing a new narrative that you are valuable, that you are a good person, and that you deserve to think good thoughts about yourself. You got to do some self-care. You might need to really put forth some effort. You might have to exercise. I talk about the big five. Exercise, eat healthy, drink water, get enough sleep, and socialize. Have your social network. And you might have to do one or all of those. But the idea is for you to work on this. Don't accept it. I don't want you to accept that you're no good, because you are. You are a very valuable person. But I don't want you to accept the fact that your life is over, or there's something wrong with you. I want you to live your life. I want you to be encouraged and motivated and inspired. And I want you to work on you. Does that make sense? It's easy to say, hard to do. I know. And so this is a common message that I tell my clients. And I'm telling it to you. And if you are encouraged, I want you to follow me. I want you to subscribe to this channel. And if you want some extra encouragement, I would encourage you. I have a Facebook group, and it's called Keep Calm Academy. And you're welcome to come to that. It's a safe place. It's a private group. And it's a place where you can share your struggles. And people in that group, I'll tell you, they share the same struggle. But they're there for each other to encourage one another, and they want to encourage you. You don't have to go through this alone. So if you really truly believe that you are consumed with believing you're not good enough, you need to stop and start working on that, because it's a false narrative. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I thank you so much for watching and for listening to the Mental Health Today show. I do appreciate you. Keep working on your mental health, and let me know. Reach out to me, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, wherever you hear or see this. I want you to reach out to me and let me know what I can do to help you. That's why I'm here. I'm here for you. Okay? You've got this. You do. Even if you're struggling, even if you have a lot of work to do, you've got this. One day at a time, and you'll get there. All right, friends, take care. I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you. And until next time, take care of yourself, and God bless. Bye-bye.